Hello people, Angelo here, and welcome to the Raging Dragon's Fist build for True Endgame. So this is the final area of New Game Plus, the free only mission of New Game Plus. Pretty much this is what this build is designed for. It's designed for end game. Because obviously stuff like ammo absorption and certain bonuses do not really match up to the muster of the late game, and they do start to rapidly fall off. So this is the version of the build where we sort of fix that issue. So starting off with our weapons and our armor bonus. The first armor bonus we're gonna do is First of the Four Guardians, 3 pieces, so that'll be our 2 weapons and a single armor piece, and we combine that with the -1 to set bonus requirements, which will allow us to use 3 pieces to get the effect of 4, which will give us extra life, martial arts damage, and increased attack and defense B- on Cestus. Then we combine that with our second bonus, which is the Grace of Inari. We'll have 6 pieces, using the -1 again to only need 6 parts. If you can roll the -1 with a Grace of Inari, that is the most optimal. I haven't been able to do that due to how rare it is, but I was able to roll a prayer bead with it. So if I ever do roll a Grace Finari onto one of these, I will just immediately swap that out and swap this to something that like boosts effect duration or increases my elemental damage or something like that. As for the other bonuses we put on our weapon, I'd recommend stuff increasing your key damage and extended elemental weapon, because extended elemental weapon is a must. It pretty much means that you're gonna have to buff like half the time you usually would when it comes to your weapon buff, which generally is quite busted. Like, legitimately, not having to buff your elemental weapon as much is generally busted. Especially combined with Grace Venari's 28% bonus to elemental weapon damage, which does so much incredible damage. It's actually kind of ridiculous. As for what you would put on your range weapon, I would recommend putting stuff that increases your Onryo magic key damage, since that will allow your Onryo magic when active to chip down the boss's key a little faster based on the Onryo magic we have available. Because we are going to be using quite a bit of Onryo magic with this build. Vastly more compared to the previous build where I went very minimalist with it, where this version it's sort of required to get the maximum possible that you have to go quite extreme with the Onryo magics, which also affects the stats, which you will see in a bit. As for your armor, stuff that decreases damage taken, stuff that decreases damage taken while attacking, maybe even like a singular, because this doesn't stack, so you only need 1 bit of armor with this. Life recovery on deflect, because as said, this does not stack from what I'm aware, so you want to only pretty much have a singular one on a single bit of armor. The rest I'd recommend just having, again, damage taken when attacking, damage taken, and everything else to improve your key recovery and decrease your key cost. And that's pretty much all it will be. As for our Onryo magic, we'll start off with the 3 major boss talismans, the Hellstream, Hellfire, and Hellgust, which will be used to proc confusion on our enemies. Generally, if an enemy's super immune, you won't use the one that they're super immune to, since while that will not give you max confusion, getting 2 of these combined with the elemental weapon bonus that you get from your elemental weapon buff talisman will still do a lot of confusion on the enemy. But if you can get all of them onto the enemy, that obviously will give you massive bonuses to your damage, to the duration of confusion, to their ability to transition phase, and that will allow you to do massive damage in a very short burst. As for our new form of healing, we are combining the Protection Talisman with the Life Leech. And it's not that we'll be using them together, but more we'll be using Protection to go into the fight to get our early burst in, and then Life Leech will pretty much be sort of mixed in to heal up when we need to, between uses of Protection, so we don't burn through Protection super quick. So we can pretty much mix back and forth, sometimes use together, like say you're about to die, Protection Talisman, you're immune to a set amount of damage, not all damage, just a set amount for a set amount of time, quick Life Leech, and then you can burst some hits in to get your life back to max. So it's a very good safety net with the protection talisman, and life leech is not as heavily nerfed as Omrio Magic Armor Absorption Life Heal is in the end game. This is pretty much the superior healing once you get to the end game. The only downside is phase transitions on the boss do deactivate it on the boss, so you'll have to reapply it. And also on top of that, it only affects one enemy at a time, so I would recommend using this on the biggest, tankiest enemy available. And it's got 6 procs though, so it's not too terrible, but still, try and use it on the tankiest enemy available. Sorry, my throat went weird there. As for our Spirit Summon, same Spirit Summon, Gushin, same reasons, great bonuses on our special effects. 8-handed blade is a mint when it comes to punishing burst attacks from the enemy. So, just generally reliable. You could switch this out with something that increases elemental damage if you so wished, but I personally don't see a reason to. Like, the damage gained from it is very minimal, in my opinion. I will note as a bonus that this particular summon, the Tengun Kaji, can't pronounce it, does have an ability known as Elemental Roulette, which allows you to buff your weapon. So if you want to quickly switch to Ninja to proc this and get a weapon buff for free without having to use a talisman, you can do that, but it is random, and so you might get an effect that's already procced on the enemy, which means you'll lose out on a little bit of damage. But if you don't want to waste the talisman and you want to be a bit more conservative on that for like later portions of the fight, that is an option. In addition, if you're gonna use ninjutsu, I recommend having Shadow Stitch equipped, just because certain enemies that move around a lot, just Shadow Stitch them, switch back to Samurai, go crazy with Fist of Reckoning. Very good combination. That's legit the only reason, by the way, I have any points in ninjutsu is purely for Shadow Stitch. Just so I can proc it, snap them with that, get in close, and start laying in some attacks. As for our summons, we're going to use the Onryoki Soul Core, which gives us a 8.5% defense, like minus the damage taken, while attacking. And then Gozuki, same reason. Really, the other stats don't matter, it's just a minus the damage taken when attacking. As for our equipped summon, it's going to be Gozozuki. So you could also just decide not to use summons at all and just have both pages have an elixir on, just in case you need to emergency heal, because late game you're still probably going to have to use an elixir every once in a while. As for our martial arts, ninjutsu, as said, is pretty much going to only be Shadow Stitch, and that's it. As for our samurai stuff, Unbowed, Kick Cycle Water, Fist of Reckoning, Battering Ram, Reckless Charge, and Spinning Kicks. Those spinning kicks becomes less notable as we get deeper into the game, because the other stuff just so overwhelms it in comparison, but it's still a good option. And of course, as a distance closer, Reckless Charge is still super useful. Particularly with the heavy version, I'd recommend to have the heavy version unlocked so you can click when charging the heavy attack and get the double hitter instead of the single hitter. As for mid stance, if you want to choose it, Kick Cycle Water, Knife Head Strike, Battering Ram, Reckless Charge, and that's it. As for low stance, the only thing added here is just Fractured Foe, just because it gives you some lightning damage. But generally, we're going to spend like 99% of the time in high stance outside of very select situations where low stance might be a bit more useful in terms of utility. As for our stats, they have changed quite a bit, and this is a 190 build, so you could lower your strength by 10 to get it to 180, or you could raise up your health by 10 to get it to 200. Your constitution, So stats are 30 constitution, 50 heart, 30 stamina, 30 strength, 15 skill to meet the minimum armor requirement if you want to use some ninjutsu in there, intellect 30 to get generally the best amount of duration from intellect that you can get without overstacking into an Onryo magic build, and 40 magic to allow us to use all the Onryo magic we need. As for our abilities, Mysteries of Onryo Magic, Enduring Destruction, Key Sapping Follow-Up, Attack Mastery 2, Awakening, Amplification, and Attack Mastery 1. As for our Samurai skill, Destructive Arts, oppressive strength, unshakable, arts proficiency, life siphon, roaring dragon deflect, and prelusive art. And this is purely so we can spend as minimal time in ninja as possible, because we can build up gauge while in samurai form when using our proficiency attacks, which then will allow us to quickly switch to ninjutsu and snap with a stitch, switch back, immediately start attacking. As for ninjutsu, if you so choose to use any more of it, Rig of the Gods, Ruffled Dragon, Illusionary Dragon, Patience of the God, Deadbringer, and Throwaway Blade counter. With that said, let's go over to our clans now, because this actually has changed quite a bit, and it's very important for this build to work. Literally, you need to make sure to get particularly the clan that is the, I believe it's Shinsengirami clan, which gives you a warrior's honor that massively, and I'm not underselling this, it massively inflates your baseline melee damage. So stuff like Fist of Reckoning get massively boosted by this. The downside is that if you're hit from behind, you take more damage. So you want to make sure to always be facing your enemies. And with this build, there's no reason you should be turning away anyway. But you want to keep your focus always on the enemies. Always have nothing behind you. Because if you let an enemy get behind you, you will take more damage. And then, of course, the Todo clan life bonus on stamina will also give you practically double your health in its current state. And that's pretty much the build. So let's go down to the training grounds and show off some combos. So I believe it's in battle scrolls. I rarely go down to the training grounds, I'll be dead honest. So training grounds, we go in and let's show off some combos and how to actually use the build. Since this will... It is not at all like how the previous build works. We're not really going to be as combo crazy with this build, since there's some hard focus we use on this. I'm trying to remember, fight ninja, fight a warrior. Let's go in here for human fights. So with human fights, one of these, charge in, snap in, kick combo, charge in, broken guard, strike combo, use our spirit summon, charge in, snap in, full combo, because he's almost dead. And that's generally the program to fight a warrior. Generally, most humanoids you will fight like that. You'll use this close space, give the snap combo, and then you'll combine this in, right into charge. And that will pretty much be your bread and butter combo for them. A good old 1-2 combo, very simple. And also the cancel window is generally after you hear, because there is a way to get extra damage. So you'll be one, and you see that second kick, that's when you click the shoulder charge to get the maximum amount of kicks out without doing the spin around. So you'll be like boom, 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 as you can see, like that. As for fighting a major yokai, jailer only will work. Let's buff up, we'll do this. Activate this, activate tornado. Into Fist of Reckoning, now he's key broken, and boom, that's the combo. Or like the general major enemies. Of course, some major enemies you can just go straight into this, because if they're very static, very slow, you can just go right into Fist of Reckoning. But if they're a bit more mobile, you'll need to break their key before you can go into the combo. As for bosses, since I don't have a boss immediately here, it will show you in the footage I have, which is, I believe, like a level 200 version where I have like 10 extra points in stamina. So this is, I'll have to show you here, since outside of actual the gameplay that'll be at the end, I don't really have an example I can show you immediately without entering the boss fight. So I'll just show you right here. With bosses, generally you want to close distance like this, and you want to elbow down and go right into the combo, end it early, roll because they're going to attack, get behind, and close like that. That should give you your proficiency, and then you get close in and you proficiency spam them like this, go full crazy, and vaporize their health bar. Of course, the entire time you want to sort of angle yourself around the outside, sort of staying around the edge, staying at the maximum possible distance while still being able to get your offense in. So if an enemy goes for like a grab, you can run back like this, circle around, and avoid stuff like the fire demons, snake grab, which is really hard to dodge. So generally, you just want to cancel out and run away. Or you want to roll to her left side, since she grabs with... to our left, I mean, like this. Because she grabs from this side first. So if you roll that way... If you roll this way, you'll get grabbed because she immediately grabs that way. So you want to roll sort of a bit wide angle out like this and then run around her to avoid that attack. If you're fighting an enemy like that, that's the same with a lot of grab attacks. A lot of them tend to grab more to your right than your left. There are some exceptions, but most enemies do seem to do that. And a lot of enemies you can just space out by running away and respacing your position and then looping back in to get offense in. With that said, that is the build. Very straightforward, very simple, even with the addition. So I hope you enjoyed this and enjoy the gameplay of it in action and just see how crazy this goes. Peace. Peace.
私では